Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this will be an unboxing and in-depth review for the Asmus Toys Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn Ash Williams 1/6 scale figure. Even though I've just noticed the box, it doesn't say Evil Dead 2, and the font they've used for Evil Dead is from the TV series. So, interesting. So I should have had this figure a long time ago. I pre-ordered it day one. I was poised and ready. As soon as it went up for pre-order, I got my pre-order in. It was actually my girlfriend who pre-ordered this for me because it just happened to come out on a day where I was totally tapped out. I'd paid all my bills and just a bunch of other stuff happening in life, and I had to ask my girlfriend to do me a favor and could you just pre-order this for me, and I'll settle up with her, which I have done in full. We paid full price for this exclusive edition. It's like $300 plus. It came by FedEx, so I think there was a bit of extra shipping there, obviously. But what happened was they forgot about us. We pre-ordered it day one, and I just kept seeing more and more reviews going up, and then started to see English collectors putting up reviews, which is where I am in England. And I'm thinking, well, where's mine? And no word from them whatsoever. And eventually I went round my girlfriend's place and used her computer and replied to the original confirmation email saying that we had pre-ordered it. And the next day, we got fair enough, we got the next day reply saying, oh, I'm sorry about that, we will send out your figure ASAP. It looks like they forgot about us, basically. So that's why this figure is so late to the channel. I'm really looking forward to getting into this review. Despite all the controversy around the figure, basically, well, I won't go into it now because you don't want to just be staring at a box. Let's get to it. But there's a lot of controversy surrounding this piece, and I'm a big fan of the movie it's based on. So let's get into it. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333 for plenty of pictures and clips. Alright, now here's the box art with a picture of the prototype figure looking pretty damn good. That's what we, pre-ordered it based on these images. If you saw my original video when they first announced this piece. They've still got the sticker over his original name that they spelt wrong, and they've just replaced it with a bit of tape with the name on there. It was missing an I in Williams before, so it was Ash Willems. But other than that, nice looking packaging, and it should display nicely behind the figure because that's how I like to do it. But I would have expected them, it's a high-end piece, and $300, I would have expected at this point, a good few months after the release of the figure, they would have fixed that by now, but still just taped over the box. And here is the packaging for the exclusive diorama base, which I also would have expected to be housed a little bit more professionally, but at least it's safe in there. It just doesn't look very nice, but it's okay. No biggie. Alright, let's get to the unboxing part. So, let's have a little look around here. Alright. Now I do have the copy of the Sideshow Collectibles head sculpt of Ash Williams. It's not the official Sideshow one. They're on eBay for like £13–15 each, and they're really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying that out. But this review is going to be purely just stock figure. I will be doing, repaints and mods and all that stuff, weathering. So that's all coming up on the channel. This unboxing / review will be completely stock figure. I won't be messing with anything during this video. Alright, just pop that there. Right, here we go. So remove the first clamshell. Let's just get straight to it. How heavy is the figure? How does he feel in hand? He's not too heavy, he's not too light, it's just about right. Nice bit of weathering on his clothing. There's quite a bit of weathering on my clothing as well, folks, if you can see it. I'm always painting stuff now, so pretty much all my clothes are ruined with paint. So yeah, I've got things to say about the head sculpt, but we'll save that. What's going on with my elbow? That feels good. There we go. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, so there he is. So I just tilted the camera up a little bit because it was getting a bit low. So yeah, I'm glad I have the other head sculpt as an option. because I'm not in love with how this has turned out, but we'll see. We'll see. It kind of just makes me think of like a weird video game version of Ash or something. It's like a version of Ash rather than capturing him from Evil Dead 2. In my collection of horror icons, I was always kind of planning on displaying him as the Deadite Ash, or the possessed Ash, or whatever you want to call it, because we do have that head sculpt here. But I do have the spare shirt that comes with this, and I do have some other brown pants that I took from a Freddy Krueger sideshow figure, so I might be able to bash together a second figure, maybe have them side by side wrestling each other or something. That'd be quite funny. But yeah, this looks pretty good, needs a bit of work. And then we have his severed head of his girlfriend. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's get to it. I'll get the camera off the tripod here and we'll get amongst it. Now I'm just setting the scene here just to take a picture for a thumbnail, you know, just get all the accessories lined up around him and get a few picture options for later. And as I'm taking all of the bits out and setting them up around him here, I mean, this is definitely, it's a weird one to review because I'm trying not to be kind of polluted by all the stuff that's already been said, because I got it quite late and everyone's already ranted about all the things to rant about. But I'm not in love with the head sculpt, but you're still getting a lot of good stuff here. Again, it is the exclusive version, so it's really nice to have, you know, this possessed version of Ash, and the second shirt with the sleeve ripped off. Chainsaw looks good. I don't really see the point of this gimmick they have here, where if you pull the string, the chainsaw blade moves. Whatever. I mean, that's metal, cold to the touch, so that's nice. The regular stand that he's on is also quite nice as well. I like the way he looks with the shotgun in the holder behind his back. And, you know, maybe certain angles, like, yeah, there are certain angles definitely with this head sculpt. I've just done it now, and the angle I'm looking at this from now, with a little bit of a tilt to the side looking down, that does look really nice. So there's definitely potential there. But point is, this ain't a terrible figure by any stretch. You do get a lot of cool stuff. And the detail in this Book of the Dead, each page has all the stuff on there. I mean, each page is different. Really cool. And it feels like a smaller version of this. So it's pretty cool. The Kandarian dagger, soft here so it doesn't break or hurt anyone, but hard up here on the handle. And plenty of hands, including his severed hand, his Deadite nasty hand, which looks like that could use a little bit of a black wash. Very plain on the skin, so I'll weather that up. But his actual normal hands are quite well weathered. They're all weathered. And these rubber arms, or whatever it is, silicone rubber, whatever, they look fine when they're straight like this, which is how I'll have to, you know, display them. But I've seen in other people's videos, I'm nervous to even try to bend that, because that doesn't feel like it wants to bend. I'm not gonna. I don't trust it. I haven't got enough experience with these guys. I ain't breaking my figure straight out of the box. I will bend that elbow, but not just yet. Anyway, yeah. Looks pretty decent. You know, young Ash Williams. But I need to get the exclusive diorama base out as well. There's a lot of stuff here. So it's a heavy one, because apparently this base is all like polystone. Wow, it's huge. Bloody hell. Right, well, we've got Henrietta. There she is. It was funny, the first few batches of this, she came without any hair, and it kind of looks a little bit like KG from Tenacious D, bless him. Very heavy. Chain's a little bit knotted up, that's alright. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that's just a magnet. But it was holding on to that. Right, so let's get this. Oh, that's the back. What am I doing? No, is it? No, yeah, that's the back. That's the side. That's where to go. Why isn't that not sliding in? Well, this bit's a bit wonky, so it doesn't really want to go in the slot. Oh, mate! Oh, you're having a laugh. You're having a fucking bubble. No, that's not going in. I heard something snap. It wasn't me. Get in there. Right. Okay. We'll take a break. Okay, so I managed to get it, you know, into the slot, but there was a lot of cracking noises as I was doing it. I was worried it was just going to snap. So let's wait. Have I only got one pole? I think I've only got one pole here. You know, the one they give you with this stand? I think that's the only one. So I was hoping there'd be two. Because I've got to put that in there now. Yeah, they should have given you two of them. It's the friggin' exclusive version. You can muster up two of them, can't you, Asmus? I don't think they could. I don't think they could be bothered. Right. Okay. And now this, I'm sure will slot on there. Bit wobbly. How's this go? I don't know. Well, I will tell you that that is not fun to put together. Like you might have seen, I might have cut it out of the video, but I filmed myself trying to assemble this, and this background wouldn't slot into the slot properly because the slot on the bottom of the background was kind of bent, so it wouldn't line up, and I had to really spend time forcing that in. This is so close to the back, it should be a little bit more forward, and it's all wobbly and shit, and I don't know if that's supposed to go there, but this is just, you know, I had to really wrestle with this vise, and it's still not flush, and it's all just wobbly and loose. You only get one of these stands, so you either have to choose to put it on this base or on the other base. I wish they at least gave you two of those stands, because then I would put together two figures, which I probably will do anyway. But now I don't know how I'm gonna, well, yeah, basically they should have given you two of them with the friggin', you know, exclusive deluxe version. Also, they're not called Deadlight. Look, Deadlight with an L. They're Deadites. There's no L. Mate. Okay, no. And also, he's so much taller than that window. I mean, when you turn this around, you can see the window frame and the glass on the back. And that just doesn't make sense, because you'd have to walk over and then hunch down and look out the window. It's just, you know, proportion-wise, it makes no sense. It's nice, though. It does look nice. Look at that. Henrietta. All the accessories. I just took the rod out of it and stuck it on this because, you know, when it comes time to put him up on the shelf for the rest of the horror icons, he will be standing on this rather than that, because that will make him too tall. It will throw off the shelf. But I'll find somewhere to put this. It's nicely done. Right, sorry, I just have to know before we go any further if this will work. Okay, good. Alright, so if all else fails, we've got plan B. Alright, back to the review. I was keen to check this out as quickly as possible. I saw some reviews where people had some huge gaps between the head and the neck when they tried to switch over the head from the regular Ash head to this possessed version. If you press it down hard enough, mine seems to be matching up quite nicely. However, the color difference between this head sculpt and the neck is very obvious. So that is piss poor. Piss poor. It's a nice looking head sculpt though, and when the right head is on there, everything matches up color wise, but I don't know why they couldn't have at least blended it a bit better, because there's a stark difference between the head and the neck now. You know, from the front view you can still see it, so no excuse. Don't know what's going on. Alright, so I've got the figure set up on the rotating base here. We'll just see him come around a few times. And I have to say, I think it looks good from the side and slightly askew, but from dead on the front, which we'll see in a moment, I just don't think it really looks that great. There's no stubble. Like in the movie, he's got like a nice 5 o'clock shadow going on pretty much from the beginning of the film. And there's none of that here, so it makes him look kind of weird and baby-faced. I wouldn't say, Bruce Campbell in the movie was baby-faced. I mean, he was obviously a lot younger, but he still looked quite chiseled. I'm just not getting that with this head sculpt at all. So, yeah, it's a good thing you get this head sculpt, because that's the saving grace here, because that's probably how I'm going to have him displayed anyway with the rest of the guys from the horror movies collection. But yeah, just not digging that head sculpt. That's a shame, because it all comes down to that really. If the head sculpt doesn't look right, nothing's going to look right. But we'll get to the rest of him. I mean, there's the prototype image. And there was some 5 o'clock shadow there. You can see some stubble under his nose, above the lip. But in reality, it's not there at all. You'll also have to go in with some EBA blood. That's what I use. And finish the transition from the blood to the neck. And just go over all the blood on this head sculpt. I don't even know if I'll use this. Between having the Deadite version and the copy of the Sideshow head there, which obviously even from that angle there you can see looks 10 times better. If I do have him displayed as Ash, that will be the head I use. So that's my feelings on that. Now, I tried to check this in the film, and I've seen it on the Prime 1 statue and previous Sideshow Ash figures in 1/6 scale from years ago, but I think his shotgun holder or holster is a little bit big, a bit wide, a bit oversized possibly. It certainly looks a little bit big compared to his body, and when he's wearing it, it just looks a little bit comical. So it's another little thing that I might have to rethink when it comes to actually having it on the figure. It just looks really big. Holds the gun well though. Posability in his arms seems quite good. He does seem to have a double bend in the elbow. Yeah, it's just that dead on from the front angle I don't like. But once it gets to about there, I start to see Bruce, but I mean, not from the dead on from the front. And I mean, that's the one angle you need it to hit, and it just doesn't for me. But there, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. And then, ooh, what happened? Oh, that's good again. It's good, it's good. That kind of situation. Now, I was just trying to get some movement out of his waist, and he doesn't turn at all in the waist. And then I remembered it's a seamless top half of the body, so that's probably why. But he can look good, there's no doubt about it. I mean, even dead on from the front here, which I'm not keen on. I don't know, the right pose can kind of help the likeness from the front view I'm finding. Like now, for some reason, I'm seeing him again. I'm talking about Bruce, of course. Bearing in mind he was a lot younger. I know a lot of us kind of have the picture in our head now of Bruce as he is now and as he was in the TV show. But yeah, not a much younger Bruce. It's certainly not a bad figure. We'll get to the score at the end. I really need to think about that one before I give you my final thoughts at the end of the video. But so far, I'm still just getting the grips with him. I only just got him out of the packaging, still getting used to how he moves. And it's early days in the review yet. Pros and cons, folks, it's riddled with them, but it's still a pretty damn decent Ash Williams figure from Evil Dead 2. A lot of potential here. For someone like me, and for some of you out there who, you like to mod your figures and repaint things and weather things, I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had here. Almost a blank canvas, but, well, not exactly blank because of the amount of blood that's on his forehead. He's got very, like the way they've sculpted his skin, the pores of his skin, a bit cartoony, a bit obvious.
And it's weird because when you look at go back and watch my review on the Asmus Toys Gandalf figure, the deluxe version, and that looked like a real person, flawless. But this is a major step back, and this figure came out after Gandalf. But it can still look good. I still think that looks really nice. That might have to be the thumbnail right there. We'll see. Alright, so I've just got him holding on to the Book of the Dead, and it works pretty well, the expression on his face, if you have him looking at something specifically like the book. Doesn't look too bad. And I watched the film earlier today before I did this video, and I do like the tone of his blue shirt. They do seem to have got that really accurate. Obviously it's so weathered as the film goes on, but the original, you know, before it got all scuffed up, that is pretty much the same tone of light blue. Alright, so I've got the figure nice and backlit. There's some nice lighting happening here. Trying to get some shadows to fall on the sculpt to see if it will bring out a bit more of a Bruce Campbell likeness. It's not doing much to help it, to be honest with you. He still looks a bit video gamey. That's the only way I can describe it, man. It's like a video game version of Ash Williams where it's not quite right, but you know who it's supposed to be. Alright folks, I have removed the harness and put on the possessed Ash head sculpt. And with a little weathering and a bit of repainting in places, I'm pretty sure this will be how I display my Evil Dead 2 Asmus figure. It just makes more sense to me because of all the horror characters up on the shelf there, they're all bad guys. And that was one of the things that always put me off getting an Ash figure, was because he was a good guy and it would just be a bit out of place. Like amongst all those villains, you've got one hero, and I just wasn't keen on the idea. But having the option to have him displayed as the possessed Ash makes it work perfectly. I will need to do some weathering on the neck of the body to get the paint to match, but that shouldn't be a problem. Then I'm going to do a lot more nasty, kind of wet, sweaty, kind of nasty look, and some better blood on the head sculpt. But yeah, that will more than likely be how I end up displaying him when the time comes. So it's a shame that the head sculpt paint doesn't match the paint of the neck or the color of the neck. It's a stark contrast between the two, and it's very sudden. And if you push it down hard enough, you can get it to click on quite nicely. But it doesn't feel good to do. You know, changing over these heads doesn't feel like you're doing the figure any favors. And if you were new to the 1/6 scale collecting game, I really wouldn't blame you for being extremely nervous about doing it. I was kind of in the mindset of, well, if it breaks, if the neck peg breaks, so be it, and I'll figure something else out. But yeah, that's just how I felt when I was doing it. I also untucked his shirt a little bit and pulled his pants down around his waist because they were up quite high and it was making him look a bit odd. But proportion wise, he's not too bad. Doing a pose like this would have looked fantastic had the paint have matched between the head and the neck, but raising his head up to achieve this kind of, him struggling to come back to his regular self as the sun was rising, but it does just reveal the difference between the two colors between the head and the neck, and it's just kind of hideous. But he does have double bend in the knees, and you can move the feet into that position to kind of get him in a pose like this. And I'm sure that will look a lot better once you fix what you need to fix, but you shouldn't have to. $300. I was just taking some pictures and I got a really good shot for Instagram. You'll see it on there, but I noticed when I was looking at the picture once I posted it, the bottom teeth on our left side, the lines between the teeth just aren't really there, so all of a sudden he's got a massive one big chunky tooth. So I'll have to fix that with a tiny little paintbrush and some black paint, which I can do myself, but again, shouldn't have to. $300 friggin' dollars. I don't get it. like I said before, these are the guys that made Gandalf, the deluxe version from Fellowship of the Ring. It's a stunning piece. The only thing people could complain about on that one was the magnetized system on his hat was a bit cumbersome, but this is just a major leap backwards, or a stumble backwards over a cliff into the ocean and ripped apart by sharks. I'm just not pleased about the teeth, the bottom ones on this side here. They're just really inconsistent with the rest. I mean, it's not so bad on this side. I mean, it's still not great, but over here things get really shoddy. You know, regular viewing distance, not too bad, but still major issues. Now with the lighting kind of really bouncing off the back of him, it kind of conceals that difference in colour between the head and the neck. You can kind of get away with it. He certainly looks pretty intimidating here, especially with the fists, like he's just ready to pound down the door and get you. Now, I was going to start bitching about the ankles, the legs. The knees are quite stiff, but they're not going to go anywhere. So while it's not exactly fun bending them, at least they're good and solid, and that'll help keep him upright. The other thing I wasn't too happy about was the lack of a pivot in the ankles, but there actually is one if you just use a bit more force. At first I thought I broke something, but no, they do have some good pivot in there. I was able to get the feet flat even when his legs are slightly apart. He still looks a bit weird. I don't know, it's hard to get him to look natural in the waist because there's no movement all up through him because it's a seamless body, which we'll see soon when I switch over the shirt, but it's making all the poses look a little bit like he's got something wedged up his butt, like a long stick, and he can only move in a certain way. Yeah. I think I've managed to get him looking pretty decent here. That would certainly look good amongst the smut and the filth of the horror shelf. That day will come soon, folks, but I think he looks pretty good here. Made it work. Definitely going to grab a few snaps of this. You know where you'll find them, don't you? Ah, yes. On the gram. Dean Knight 333. Follow thee. Alright, we'll move on from this look now. We'll take one last look at it. So change him back to regular Ash and put on the other shirt with the torn sleeve. We'll check out those other arms. But this certainly has a lot of potential, this particular version of Ash. I'm looking forward to having him up there on the shelf. But this is why I'm not getting any turn in the waist area, because it's all seamless. Nicely sculpted though. It's missing the 3 scratches that are supposed to be around this area, right about here. I'll have to add those myself. I gotta just stop to let you know it's really unpleasant trying to pop this other arm with the seamless look into this joint. It won't go in. I'm pressing down pretty hard, and I don't like manhandling this skin bit too much because it's not as thick as you'd think. I don't want to damage it. I know I'm going to be weathering this arm up anyway, but getting that joint in there is proven to be really tricky. I'm going to leave this arm the way it is because that'll be covered up with the sleeve, and at least I'll have posability in that arm. This one's just going to have to stay straight. But I might have to go heat up the connection and make it softer. I should mention that I was able to just remove the skin, which was kind of gross, but that came off, or just slid off of the arm very easily. So that's what the arm looks like underneath the skin. So maybe I can just, yeah. God. Alright, I managed to get it to snap in, literally snap in. I thought I broke something with the sound it made, but it's very unpleasant doing that. Now I'll put the skin back on. But yeah, it's just not fun to do that at all.
Alright, so I just stood him up here, the arm's on now, and managed to get it to look good. And I pulled down the pants so you can see, I guess it's kind of, the bit here just carries on down to the groin and sort of, I guess, goes under and comes back up again, and it all kind of connects that way. Muscle on his back looks good as well, so I mean it's good sculpt. I did see some folks were having issues with this coming apart. Yeah, I got that. Other side. Oh, that side's good, which is the side I need it to be good on, so that's alright. It's not alright, it's damn right unforgivable. Hopefully that doesn't come apart anymore. I won't mess with it too much. Let's get the shirt on.
See, now this is what I mean about these stupid little buttons. Let's see if I can show you this. I haven't touched these yet, but the top button, the little nodule bit, you're not seeing it from that angle. Here we go. It's already bent to the side. See, it's kind of leaning over like the little leaning tower of Pisa. So that's not going to be easy to pop in there. I hope it doesn't snap, because I really need that top button to do up. I wouldn't mind so much if it was one of these bottom ones, but that's the most important button right there. So more problems. God. Wrist peg won't go in the rubber arm joint. I'm really giving it all my force. It just says hard no. I'm not going in there, mate. So you're gonna have to go get yourself a hairdryer. And yeah, I didn't have to remove the belt. I didn't want to mess around with that, so I just literally tucked it in with a tweezers and a little screwdriver and just tucked in the shirt all the way around. That top button, the top button there just will not stay shut because of that bent pin that I showed you earlier. So it kind of naturally covers it anyway, but it's a pain in the arse, and I don't like things like that. I like buttons to stay shut and hands that go in joints. You. See, I realised once I remembered to put the harness back on that the issue with the button not doing up at the top, it's kind of irrelevant, you know. The harness will completely cover it and hold the shirt in place anyway. I don't think I'll be doing this again, so I'll probably use a spare body for the Deadite Ash look, because yeah, I just don't fancy doing all that again with the harness and the shirt, and it's very fiddly, but it's starting to look really good now. So we'll put his head on, and we'll get where's the hand? Oh yeah, damn it. I have to get his bloody hand on. Bollocks. It doesn't want to go on. I've tried on the seamless arm. It just won't go in. So I have to go get a bloody hairdryer or something. Okay, so after about half an hour really of just messing around, I know some people get it done quicker, but it'll be about half an hour between switching arms and getting that wrist peg to go into the arm and getting the harness back on and trying to tuck the shirt in without undoing the belt, because that's going to be a nightmare. Finally got there, and he does look pretty good. Obviously he's missing details and weathering and blood, like the scratches on his stomach. He doesn't have those. I'll have to add them myself, and it definitely looks like the arm could do with some attention. It's very plain looking right now, but you can see there's definitely a lot of potential here, and I keep saying that word potential when I shouldn't have to, because it's an expensive piece. It should be fine right out of the box, but it still looks pretty damn good. From dead on in the front, like I said, loses the likeness a little bit for me and looks a bit more like a video game version of Ash, but from this angle here I'm really seeing him again. And I think you'd agree, from here it looks pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to weathering him and putting the blood on, and just trying to heighten the piece. But what do you think? You think right now he's looking pretty good? Right, now we'll take a moment to look at the diorama base. And I think this head sculpt turned out pretty good in the end. I like the actual sculpt and the paint on it.
I know the hair could be a little bit more accurate, but I'm happy enough with that. And I've got this turned outwards because it just wasn't really looking right facing the other way like it does in the instruction book and like most other folks do, but I just prefer it kind of being a little bit more to the side. Couldn't get it to clip in all the way no matter what I tried. It just won't get flush. But Henrietta turned out pretty good in the end. I'll zoom in. Pretty creepy.
But, you know, all in all, very nice. It certainly does look pretty good now. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, just beautiful. Henrietta grabbing his ankle looks really cool. You can see her laughing while she does it as well. He stands up pretty damn good because he's got nice stiff ankles. His severed head looks good in the background, kind of mocking him as he looks on to whatever's about to come his way. Yeah, man, once I add some more wet looking blood and weather that shirt a bit more, get some weathering and dirt and blood on the torso and the arm, get some more weathering on his pants too, I think we'll have something here, folks. I mean, the likeness is pretty strong again now. It seems to be if you get him looking off to the side a little bit, and this particular side of his face, his left-hand side, just seems to work. And there's a nice kind of shine off the hair, because his hair always looked wet in the movie. And I haven't done anything to the hair, and once the light bounces off it, it does look suitably wet. That does look pretty impressive, I have to say. Okay folks, time to wrap things up, giving my final thoughts and a score out of 10. Thank you for watching. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram at DKnight333. I would give him, out of 10, I give him a 7. He's a good figure. You know, he's got many little issues, and for people who, you know, like me, like you, the perfectionists who want, you know, everything to be accurate, and you're going to be frustrated with elements of the piece for sure. But there's no denying, once you get him all set up and find a good pose for him, it's definitely a 7 out of 10 for me anyway. It's a good figure, you know, 7's good, 8's very good, 9's excellent, 10 is a masterpiece. This is a 7, it's good. Could have been better, but pretty damn good. I am really loving the way he looks right now, and I like seeing all the stuff around him on his display. It's, you know, it really reminds me of the Prime 1 statue, the big one. And that was amazing looking. But this reminds me of it because of the same kind of style-ish diorama. It doesn't have the creepy, was it a deer? Just remember those eyes and the antlers, and it's laughing on the wall.
But yeah, I'll give him a 7, folks. You can let me know in the comments if you agree. If you own this piece, if you're thinking about getting it, I guess that's the question. It's a lot of money, so I'm sure a few people watching this thinking, well, Dean, should I get it or not? Should I spend $300 on the, you know, exclusive version with this diorama base? If you have experience, you know, touching up paint jobs and just doing a bit of weathering and blood work on a figure, then I'd say, yeah, if you've got that kind of money to throw about and it's not going to dent your bank account too much, then I'd say there's enough here for me to say, yeah, sure, if you're a big fan of Evil Dead 2. But then again, you know, there is another option out there, which is the sideshow figure, which is very expensive, and maybe with all the stuff Trick or Treat Studios are doing and have done already to do with horror in 1/6 scale, there's a lot upcoming from them. I would not be surprised if one day we see Ash Williams from Trick or Treat Studios. It may not happen, but it could. it could very well happen. So you have to bear that in mind. That's what I thought to myself when this was announced. I thought, well, you know, do I get this one and hope that the Trick or Treat don't announce one that's amazing? And we'll see. We'll see. But for now, I've got plenty to be getting on with. I've certainly got
pretty decent looking Ash Williams here. So, yeah, that's my score. 7 out of 10. And if you're a big fan of the film and you got the money, it's not going to hurt you too much to spend it, then yeah, I think so. I really wasn't loving it too much at first when I first got it out of the box and was just working my way through all of it, but now that I've been sitting here a couple of hours, got them posed up nice, I'm really enjoying it. Alright, so we have the Caustic Plastic John Wayne 1/6 scale deluxe figure coming any day now, so that will be another review coming up soon. And then we have the First Blood Rambo. That's a 1/6 scale figure that's coming from the Sylvester Stallone shop. And that's the first figure being released from them. And Stallone himself is the director of the company, and he's overseeing pretty much all, you know, factors, all the elements of this figure coming up. John Rambo from First Blood. Cannot wait to show it to you, man. It's going to be an exciting review. I hope you've enjoyed this one. This figure will be back on the channel. I'll show you the mods I do, and I'll bring you more content on this piece in the next few days. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy, see you soon. Bye bye.